Hey guys, John Garing here. Thought I would do another video on the four bearing method. However, this time we're going to be moving with our ship, and it's a little bit more involved, but it's incredibly accurate, and I've been absolutely amazed at how well it works. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys. So we're going to start off with a scenario where we just basically have one single freighter. They'll be moving roughly sideways at a certain distance. We don't know exactly what direction, and that is what we're going to find out. So let me go ahead and generate this scenario. Here we are. We have our initial hydrophone bearing. If we whip out our hydrophone, we can turn it over and then hear the boat, hear the target moving. We can click onto here on the mini map and follow it, and that way our hydrophone guy is now going to keep this up to date. So what we're going to do, we're going to pause the game. We're going to open our stopwatch and go ahead and get it started, and we're going to, at time 0, basically give our first bearing. We're going to draw a line here and mark that first bearing. And then we're going to start moving. Like I said, we're not going to be at full stop like we were in the previous video. And we're just going to give it 5 minutes. So we're going to go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. As we can see, the target is moving actually westward in some way, while we were moving eastward, but that's no problem whatsoever. So that's our second bearing. And we're going to go ahead and do that a third time. So here we go, 5 minutes, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So here's our third bearing going in this direction. Okay, so now something just so you guys understand, like not just what to do, but why you're doing it. What we know for a fact is our target is moving at a constant course, constant bearing, and at a constant speed. And it was somewhere on this line at time point 0. It was somewhere on this line at time point 5, and somewhere on this point, this line at time point right now. And so what we're looking for is we're trying to find the course that the ship is taking, and whatever course it took, the distance from where it was on this line to where it was on this line is going to be the same as the distance from where it was on this line to this line. How do we know this? Because it's 5 minutes each time, 5 minutes difference. And because it's moving at the same speed, it's going to be at the same distance. So what we want to do is we want to find a line such that the distance between these two lines is the same as the distance between these two lines. And the easiest way to do that is we're going to just do we're going to pick 2 points on the second line and figure out what would the course have been for the ship if it was passing through that point. Now, we don't know yet which point it passed on, but that's how we end up figuring it out as we take then a fourth bearing. So I'll explain that in a little bit. Let's just go ahead and do it. So what we'll do is we'll do one a little closer here to where we're at, and we're going to put the center of this circle on the second line. And the nice thing about a circle is every single point on the circle is exactly the same distance from the center. So if we can get this circle to be set up such that the diameter of the circle perfectly touches the first line and the third line going through the second line, then we know for a fact that the distance is going to be the same. Now I have this new feature. It's currently only in the beta. If you hold down shift, you can see the diameter line specifically for this type of thing. So what we can do now is make sure the diameter is just perfectly touching the first and the third line. There we go. And we'll let go. And that creates that line for us. And so this is the course it would have if it was going through this point here on the second line. Now what we can do is we can hold shift and drag it out and figure out now where would it be if it did pass through this point. Where would it be in another 5 minutes from now? And so what we know is it would be right here. We just move the circle over because it's the same radius, and then in another 5 minutes it would be right here. So let's go ahead and mark this, and we can give it a name. We can turn off the timestamp there and say projected 1. Okay, now let's do that exact same thing second time over here, a little bit further away. It always is good to have a little bit of a distance in between these 2 points. And we're going to do the exact same thing. And you're going to notice the course is probably going to be somewhat different than the last one. Yeah, look, it's probably more like about like this. So this is the only possible way that a ship could be traveling through that point, so that the distance is the same from line 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3. So once again, we let that go. We'll do the same thing again. We will project this into the future. Use the exact, we're not going to change the size of the circle at all. We just move it over. And then that way, that gives us the projected point that the ship, the target would be if it went through that point. So these are two. We're going to, like I said, change this to P2. Okay, now what we know is if it was through this point, then it would be there. If it was through this point, it would be there. And any of these points is a possibility. And so what you end up with, you're going to end up with, actually, if you would do this, and you can prove that this is the case, you end up with a line right here that describes the possible positions in the future. This isn't a bearing. This is a projection line of where the target ship could even be, and then after 5 minutes. And because we know it's somewhere going to be on this line, now we can take our fourth bearing as we move on, and wherever it intersects, that is exactly where the ship is actually going to be in that moment. So let's just go ahead and do that. Let's see if we can change the course if we want to, but let's wait another 5 minutes. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. There we go. And because our fourth bearing now is going this way, we know for a fact that it's right in the center of this bearing. We can go ahead and draw it. We know the position of the ship. Now, I could reveal ships right now and prove it to you, but I'd like to do something cooler, which is we can now try and figure out what the course is and the speed therefore also of this ship. How do we do that? Well, you can see if it had traveled through here, it would be here. If it had traveled through here, it would be here. So now what we can do is, and this is a little bit fiddly, we want to figure out whichever point it is that it had to travel through in order to end up there. So now we are kind of trying to figure it out. It's probably somewhere here or so. And we're going to just move this center point and once again figure out the diameter. And what we want to see is, does the diameter end up at exactly that point? Now we can see here, this diameter is still too far to the left of that point. Do you see that? The diameter is touching to the left of the actual point. So we need to move our circle a little bit further to the right. And we do it again. The diameter, see, now is a lot closer. In fact, this is nearly perfect. So it's still just a tad maybe to the right of it. So let's move it just a tad left, like right there. And you may need to try this a bunch of different times, but the point is you're trying to get to a point so that the diameter barely just is basically touching. Once again, it looks like now it's still a little bit to the right. You want it to just touch on that known point that we have. And once you have it there, then you have it figured out. And I will go ahead and jump forward until we have actually found it. Okay, guys, we finally found it. It was a little bit further left. So here it is. So this diameter is what touches the exact known point, as well as is equidistant through the middle line. So do you see that? We had to try it about 5 times, but now we have it. And so what's beautiful about this is not only do we know the position of the ship, we actually know the direction of the ship. And because this is exactly 15 minutes and it's exactly 3,000 yards, we'd actually even know the speed of the ship. So we could figure all of this out. And we're golden. Now, to prove this to you, I'm not even going to reveal the ship. We're actually going to shoot this ship. We're going to move this like this. So this is the radius that it took in 5 minutes. So that means it is going to be exactly up here. So we'll go ahead and extend this again with shift. this right here is the point that we know the ship is going to be in exactly 5 minutes. And so if that is the case, then we could go ahead and fire torpedoes there. And because we know our torpedoes travel at exactly 46 knots, we can go ahead and shoot it and plan it so that our torpedoes hit there at exactly the right point. So let's turn up this way and let's head exactly toward that point. Make sure that we actually have enough time here. Okay, there we go. We are headed pretty much right toward that point. And let's figure out how far away that point is from us. Ooh, it's 5,000 yards. We might not be able to make this now that I'm thinking about it. Let's try it out. We can double click on the line, enter in 46 knots, and we see it's 3 minutes and 18 seconds, which means we need to fire off a torpedo literally in 7 seconds, which might not work out, but we're going to try it. So we're going to go ahead and load, we're going to flood all of our tubes, and we're going to turn the velocity to 0 because we're just going to shoot straight ahead and manually shoot this, similar to the O'Kane video that I've already done. That'll make our torpedoes just shoot exactly straight ahead. And we're going to hope that in 7 seconds, we're able to flood our tubes, and we're going to turn. There we go. So that we're exactly turning toward. So now we are exactly turning toward where we predict it's going to be in 5 minutes. And we're hoping. There we go. So we're about 2 seconds late, but we're hoping that is no problem. And we're going to go ahead and shoot all of our torpedoes. And off they go. So we also have been moving a little bit in those 7 seconds forward. But we have now shot off 2 torpedoes. And they're headed exactly at that point over there. And we're going to speed up here. This is going to be quite the shot if this actually works. Oh, I just realized I shot multiple, which at a spread is now going to be going at quite a spread, but we will see. So we're getting the exciting music at least. But as you can see, isn't this amazing? The ship is literally exactly at the point we predicted, which is right here. And so this torpedo, even though it's a little bit left, hits it, although it was a dud. But I rest my case. The ship is exactly, unfortunately, you're not going to get any fireworks here, but let me just go ahead and turn on the reveal. Look at that. On the money, this ship is exactly where we predicted it was going to be. So I don't know if you think that's as cool as I think it is. I think it's awesome. So if you want to, you can download Silent Shark as a demo for free. You can check it out on Steam. I got the link below. It's been awesome to see that basically 99% positive reviews on Steam. So check it out, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and talk to you later.